Till Death Podcast with your hosts Ian and Jen Avina. Brought to you by Skyview Studios and Chelsea Smile Clothing.
Hey out there. Welcome to the Till Death Podcast. I'm your host Ian.
And I'm Jen.
And we are here back with you. This episode is about Captain Marvel.
Woo-woo!
Yeah, we just saw it last night, 9:45, out in the AMC over there off Rancho Cal in Temecula. No one fucking cares about the location that we saw it at. But
nope.
But it was it was pretty fun. It was a good movie.
It was okay.
It was all right. We will get into the reasons why and our experience, not only with the movie but at the theater.
So if you guys haven't seen this movie, don't listen because spoilers.
Spoiler warning.
Major spoiler alert.
Okay, maybe we'll have a little music or something right there. Throw a little. This is a spoiler. I don't know. I'm being stupid. Anyways, okay. So first things first, we are going to tell you a little bit about Chelsea Smile Clothing Company. It's one of our sponsors. They still like us. It's pretty awesome. So Chelsea Smile isn't your typical run-of-the-mill startup clothing line. Founded in 2017, they've taken over a decade of metal touring experience and adapted their clothing line to fit the times. They've searched for the best quality cotton and best denim to create their brand. You won't be disappointed. Styles change, family stays the same. Join the Chelsea Smile family at chelseasmile.co. That's ChelseaSmile.co. Now, if you go to chelseasmile.co and you use the promo code TDP for Till Death Podcast, then you'll receive 20% off of your entire purchase, which is pretty cool.
Amazing deal.
Bing, bango, bongo. And I think that was actually the best one that I've done.
Congratulations. Just don't ruin it right now.
I know. I made up for it. Hey, I said last week that I would make up for it, so there you go, Kaleo.
Yes.
And today's good. Okay. So anyways, Captain Marvel.
Let's jump into it.
Get into this. So, first off, we saw it at AMC, which they have a new seating system and reserve seat. You can reserve your seats.
So
and
most theaters do the reserve. Most theaters seem to be doing the reserved ticket or reserved seating thing now, which is great. So you can show up literally right as the previews are showing and find your seat. But what I really liked about this theater was the fact they have heated seats.
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, you got the broken one.
Yeah, we sat down, and I'm impatient, so I push a button, especially in 2019. You push a button, and you expect something to happen right away. I pushed the button. Nothing happened. And this wasn't the heater button. This was just the recliner button. So I'm like, okay, this whole chair's fucked. And so I pushed the button, and I said, my whole chair's not working. This sucks. I'm not even going to like this movie. And she said, did you hold the button?
Yeah, you need a little more patience.
I held the button, and it worked.
Tell you what, though, those seats are so comfortable.
Oh, they were comfy.
So comfortable. The leather...
Comfy.
Huh?
They were very comfy.
Yeah. And, well, mine were nice and warm.
Well, yeah.
Mine was
there was like
nice
a button that like turned on the heater thing, and that actual button was popped out or something, and you could only see like the little...
stole the button.
Yeah, someone stole the button.
You should have just put your key in there, seen what happened.
So, we'll get back to why the heater button on the chair is a little funnier. Once the preview started, it started with Dark Phoenix, which is the new X-Men movie that's about to come out. It's about Jean Grey. And they kind of got into it in the original X-Men's with Patrick Stewart. He was Professor Xavier and stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that she started off that way.
Yeah, so I don't want to say too much about it because I'm not as knowledgeable about exactly what's going on with that storyline or whatever, but I know that it's because they had all the original X-Men stuff, and then they did the X-Men First Class and brought in a new cast of X-Men.
They essentially did the Star Wars thing where they did the prequel.
Yeah, exactly. And then they came back to all this, and so So it's a little interesting.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks pretty cool. But I do have a feeling that this is going to be like the last X-Men like Fox run Marvel movie. I think from now on it's going to be Marvel Studios.
Oh.
Excuse me. I have an Izzy going on right now, so I'm going to be a little burpy. Do burpees. That's for next episode. Anyways, so I'm pretty stoked on that Dark Phoenix movie. I'm going to see it. I haven't seen a couple of the X-Men movies that have come out lately, so I probably should, brush up on that.
They're not my favorite. But...
No. Next movie preview was for the Elton John movie Rocket Man,
and that looks really good.
And you don't really like Elton John too much. You're not too much of a fan of.
I appreciate his music, and I think it's good. I just wouldn't really have it on my playlist.
Yeah, it's not something you listen to all the time. But it looks really, really good. I don't know exactly who's playing it. I don't,
Yeah, I didn't recognize that after.
On all that, but
it looks really funny.
It looks really, really good. It looks like it's in the same vein of that Bohemian Rhapsody movie, which we haven't seen yet. But it looks like it's that same kind of quality.
Well, it's that, and it kind of reminded me of, that movie that came out with Kate.
Are you talking about Almost Famous?
Hudson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, it reminded me of that.
It might be because Tiny Dancer was in Almost Famous. And there's a big scene that kind of looks a little bit like that. So, I mean, that could be
probably just because it's all having to do with the music industry.
Yeah, and music industry, 70s and all that. And then The Hustle with Australian Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, it's the blonde chick that always plays like the dumb comedian.
It's Rebel Wilson, is that?
Rebel Wilson, yeah, I think that's her name.
And then Anne Hathaway. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, not really a big fan of Anne Hathaway at all, but
she's funny,
Yeah.
But,
that movie looks really funny, though. I actually really want to see that.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. The scene where she is in that like black leather dress and she's hiding in the
as a trash bag. Yeah,
she says trashy black dress. Wins again or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's just basically two chicks that are trying to hustle millionaires for their money.
So it looks good. It looks great. Pretty funny. They're both pretty funny. But and then the next one was Spider-Man: Far From Home, which
you won't see me there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see it when it comes out in the theaters because I'm liking this new incantation of Spider-Man. What the actual Marvel Studios have done with it with what's his name, the actor who's playing it. Who's
actually playing
Spider-Man? Tom Holland. Yeah, the new Tom Holland Spider-Man's all because like I was saying, it's not a Fox Spider-Man. It's
not Tobey.
Yeah, it's not Tobey Maguire. It's not that Andrew Garfield. I liked that actor better than I like Tobey. I don't like Tobey Maguire. Yeah, Tobey Maguire was horrible. Yeah, that's it, right? Tobey Maguire. He's such a dork, and I know Peter Parker is more of the loner. The reason why I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, this new one, is because he has that nerdy aspect to him, but it's more like kid nerdy, and he's actually a kid who plays. It's not Tobey Maguire who was like in his 20s, late 20s, being Spider-Man, and it's not Andrew Garfield or whatever who obviously looks older than a high school kid. It's like it was passed off that they were high school kids. Like Tom Holland actually is a kid, I like the thing with that, and it's going to be really awesome. And you don't like Jake Gyllenhaal, but he's going to be Mysterio, which is there's just so many that I don't like. Awesome, and it just looks really, really cool, and it's going to be the first movie after Endgame. Actually, no, Jake Gyllenhaal, I don't mind. Yeah, but. It's really cool, and Mysterio is going to be in that. Mysterio is an awesome character from the comics, and he's never been in a Spider-Man movie, which is really cool. And that's coming out the next movie right after Endgame. So it'll be interesting to see how the MCU will come to pass. And it was kind of cool to hear. To hear it, I Want to Be Sedated by the Ramones on the trailer, which is cool because he's, the whole Far From Home thing. He's trying to go on a vacation with his friends, like go on a trip with his friends, and I want to be sedated. I don't want to be this Spider-Man. Over in Europe. He was just trying to be a kid. He's like, I want to be sedated from all this, responsibility that I have.
I kind of tuned out because it was Spider-Man, so I didn't even realize they played that song.
And I was that nerd who, was like putting notes into my phone as we were
you were that person with your phone on.
I turned the brightness fully down. I tilted it to myself, so I wasn't. I was trying to make sure that you guys listening to the podcast would have some notes, because I'm a dumb stoner and I'll fucking forget everything. So, but it was really cool to see BFP on the briefcase, on Peter Parker's briefcase. When he was going on his trip, it said BFP, which is Ben Parker, which is his uncle. It's really cool. So he's using. So they don't have Uncle Ben in this new Spider-Man universe that they've created, because that story's been told so many times. So it's cool to have at least like a little Easter egg, at least like a little hey, remember Uncle Ben? I just thought that was personally cool. You again couldn't care less.
Don't like Spider-Man.
The next preview. There we go. Next preview was Pokemon.
The cutest little Pikachu.
Played by Ryan Reynolds.
Or voiced over.
Voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
It wasn't Ryan Reynolds in a Pikachu costume. Which
he probably would do.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about Pokemon.
I know a lot more than you do.
But the movie actually looks really, really good. Like, they seem to do it well, so that would hit a lot of audiences.
Yeah. It was amazing. The special effects look great. The story looks really cool.
All the different Pokemon.
Yeah. I think the kid who's in it, the actual live actor who's playing, like, opposite Pikachu, I think he's the one who was in Jurassic World, the second one. Remember?
Ooh.
They were running around and he was all scared because of that new dinosaur. He's crawling up the ladder.
I don't remember.
But yeah, it looks really, really good. It's basically like if you take Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool character, like kind of one-liner-y, kind of ha-ha funny, but then make it kid-friendly.
Yeah, I'll say definitely more appropriate. Yeah. But it looks really funny.
Okay, and in between that and the next preview was Dumbo, which looks pretty cool, but it wasn't one of my favorite Disney movies, so it's not too big of a deal to me.
Nah.
But in between those two previews, we realized the annoying Dude Bros next to us.
It was a double date, and I want to say these people were like probably late 30s. I'm guessing is how old they were. Yeah. Late 30s, possibly.
You overheard some stuff while I went to the bathroom.
Early 40s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just knew that they were on a double date, and they were excited to be there, and I think they'd already hit up the bar prior, because we saw a show. The movie was at 9:45 last night. So they hit up the bar or restaurant, whatever, before, and got some drinks in them. Or Applebee's. And they said they hadn't gotten out of the house.
They seem like an Applebee's
in a really long time, because they couldn't find babysitters. So it was two couples that were out, and the dudes were just annoying.
They like the wives said because there was one preview for that The Rock and Jason Statham. It was that
we forgot about that
or whatever. It was like a Fast and Furious.
It was the Fast and Furious presents
side movie or like little offshoot, and it looked funny. It looked campy, funny action, whatever. It was definitely like a Fast and Furious movie.
I like those two actors, but it's not a movie I would go and see.
Stop with the Fast and Furious, like.
Yeah, good on that.
Anyways, but they were talking about that. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna go see that. Blah blah blah. And then the chicks with them, their wives, were like, "Oh, bro, day, blah blah blah." And it's like, dude, like, I understand it's only the previews, and you like talk, haha, like little.
They were drunk. They were so drunk
and loud as fuck, dude. Like, shut up. And but it was funny because you heard.
Yeah, well, this was actually not until the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
But one of the chicks, I'll say this delicately, she barely fit into the seat, and she made fun of herself because the little seat heater button was on the side of the seat to where, like, your hip, I guess, could kind of hit it. And, like, her and her friend were discussing, like, oh, my seat was really hot. And the other girl was like, oh, mine wasn't. And she's like, oh, well, you had to, like, keep pushing the heater button because it turns off after, like 15 minutes or something like that. So it won't overheat, I guess, or burn you. And the girl's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. She's like, I just pushed it once, and then it obviously stopped throughout the whole movie. And then her friend that was the one that was a little bit larger made a comment about herself saying, well, my fat ass just must have been pushing on that button the whole time because I was hot.
Hey, you know what? So I guess there's perks. You don't have to continually push the heater button.
Wanted to start crying. I was laughing so hard internally, but she was like 2 seats over, so I couldn't laugh. But I was like, okay, that was pretty good. That just made up for your husband's talking.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But
now
okay.
To the good stuff.
Now to the movie. One more time. Okay. Sorry. I just got an evil look from Jen. I just got to stop burping. Okay. So first off, everyone knows the beginning of any Marvel movie has the Marvel intro and has all the superheroes and has all of that, everything, and it says Marvel Studios on it. Mm-hmm. Both of us started tearing up. This intro was every single one of Stan Lee's cameos in all of the over 20 movies that he's been in Marvel, and
it was really cool.
It was really, really awesome.
I'm gonna tear up right now just thinking about it.
It was really cool, man, and because if you live under a rock and you didn't know, Stan Lee passed away. I believe it was a couple months ago.
Yes, and we should know that.
Yeah, we should know that.
Yeah,
but he passed away, and that sucks, man. It seemed like obviously neither of us knew him personally, but he seemed like a very, very, very awesome dude. Like, definitely stood up for people. He was the ultimate, like, almost ultimate superhero, you know, like, of real life. And it was really cool.
It was cool. They showed all the cameos and then said Marvel Studios, and then I think it said thank you, Stan.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
I'm going to tear up. Okay.
Woo. Okay. Anyways, so this movie, Captain Marvel, it is about the character Carol Danvers of the MCU, and she is Captain Marvel. Basically what happens is she was a fighter pilot, but it was back in the 70s where women weren't it wasn't basically today where women can be as high up in the military as men were, and there were definitely flashes of her being younger and seeing how men kind of dominated the field and just society and stuff. And I can understand that because that's how it was back then. But basically what happened is she woke up on was it Hala? Is what it is?
Hala,
the planet of Hala.
Yeah.
And she just had these powers. She didn't know where they came from. There wasn't any memory, and she was there for 6 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then, so basically, she's a Kree warrior. Doesn't understand how she became a Kree warrior or any of that, but basically, the Kree are a race of people that bleed blue and are warriors.
They look human.
Yeah, they look human. There's a couple of them that are have blue faces. There's different representations, I think. But actually, Ronan, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy, the main protagonist, antagonist? Antagonist is bad guy, right?
Bad
guy. Okay, so the main antagonist in that movie, Ronan the Destroyer. I might be getting that wrong. But Ronan does make an appearance in this.
He looks like he should be in, like, the death metal band. Every time I see him.
He needs, like, gauntlets and...
Yeah, exactly.
And just the corpse paint. But yeah, and like he has the big like headdress, like.
See, exactly.
That's great. So he should be in like Ghost or something, Ghost VC. But anyway, and it's definitely a toned down version. It almost felt like he was just kind of inserted in there to be like, hey, you remember Guardians? Or basically kind of link that to a different movie. So, anyways, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So, she's being trained by Jude Law, who is also a Kree warrior, and they're a part of the Star Force. They call her Veers, pronounced Veers, like Veers, like veering, but or Vers. There's a couple of them that call her Vers. And she's a part of the Star Force. She also, Annette Bening is introduced as the Supreme Intelligence, which In the comics, it was basically it's AI, but it's all of the spirits and energy and everything of all of the past Kree warriors and stuff like that, I believe. And I could be a little bit wrong on that, but basically it didn't have too much of a form. It just looked kind of like a big brain, or like in Power Rangers, you know, like Zordon, like in that big.
Sorry,
yeah, you know.
I didn't follow Power Rangers.
So basically, in the comics, it was like a Marvel Zordon. Like it just wasn't really.
Pretty much whatever you would imagine.
Yeah. The way they did it in this movie is they had the Supreme Intelligence take the form of whatever was most important to you in your life, or whatever had a huge significance in your life, or has, or whatever. So there was this question of who do you see when you go there, kind of thing. So Annette Bening is introduced as the Supreme Intelligence, or as Carol Danvers or Veers' representation of what's most important. So you later come to find that she has a whole backstory in the story, which is pretty cool. But her name in the real world, we find out, is Wendy Lawson. She is she's one of the heads in the military of Project Pegasus, which is a big thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is pretty awesome. So basically what happens with Captain Marvel, and this review is definitely going to be like squirrel moment, like riddled with it, so just warning you now. So after she, let me see, where were we? Okay, so she's training with Jude Law, and then they go off to
so
fight.
basically she's being told that she needs to learn how to better control her emotions in order to control her power. Exactly. So that's part of the fighting, because it's like physical fighting, but then also learning to kind of like tap within to like your I don't know, like your inner power, but it's because it's both mental and physical. And she obviously, they're showing that she has a hard time controlling because they're trying to fight physically, like, and then she just uses her powers that she has to just kind of throw him across the room. Yeah,
and there's a lot of times where they're fighting and her fist like balls up and she has that little energy field around her fist, like she's gonna hit him with it. And then,
so you learn right from the get-go that she, I wouldn't say has an issue with authority, but she definitely is hard-headed and stubborn.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you know right off the bat that she is like a individual thinker, doesn't go with the group, and
independent woman.
Yes, which kind of funny that it came out on
International Women's Day.
Makes sense.
So basically what happens is they get into so the whole point of the Kree is to, what we're told at the beginning, is to fight the Skrulls, which are a race of aliens that are shapeshifters. So they can infiltrate any planet, anything, as long as they see a being, they can transform into that being, like visually. So they are on Earth, and which is called C-53. Planet C-53.
But we don't know that just yet.
Yeah, it's just C-53.
That was kind of their first, what are they, the Star Force? The Star Force?
Yeah.
They're the first kind of mission that we see her
all
going
them
on.
Together.
Yeah, so they're all going as a group to go hunt down and kill.
Yeah. The Skrulls.
Yeah.
And so, because they're found, and so basically what happens is they're trying to go find them, and she gets split off.
Well, right? She actually, because they, again, with the shapeshifters, the main guy, he ends up looking like, I think, one of the refugees.
Yeah.
And so she gets kind of captured at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then she breaks free. And then she goes to C-53 because it's like a crash course almost.
Yeah, because they captured her and hooked her up to their machine to try to get her thoughts.
Her memories of like where the coordinates were to find Wendy Lawson.
Yeah.
So because as you find out, Wendy Lawson is a big head of science divisions for the military and stuff like that. So she has this Project Pegasus where she's trying to gain the technology to time jump or time travel. That's what that ship was for.
Yeah.
So basically the Kree were trying to find that technology to stop the Skrull from being able to do that. So that basically what we come to find out is that Annette Bening was sent way before because she is actually a Kree. So, but what happens before all that is shown. Carol Danvers, after she gets captured, she escapes and she lands on planet C-53. In the 90s, she lands in Blockbuster.
That was awesome.
Yeah, she lands in the middle of Blockbuster, which I'm sure if you've seen the previews, you see that. Kind of other funnier thing is there was a True Lies like stand up with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I want to watch that movie again now.
Yeah, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And something happens, and when she comes to, she stands up and then shoots Arnold Schwarzenegger's head off.
I think she thinks it's a person.
Yeah, so she is scared by it. But I thought it was just kind of funny because the Terminator back then was Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, he was like the action star. Yeah. And then she shoots his head off. It was just kind of like who the fuck is that guy? You know? Yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then it takes place in the 90s. It's 1995 is when it was, I think. Because it said 89 and then 6 years later.
Yeah, and she walks out of Blockbuster and then sees the security guard.
Yeah, he's like, huh?
And she asks him where she can pick up some communication
and then he
device.
points to a payphone.
No, Radio
Radio Shack, that's right. Okay.
So she goes and gets all the stuff necessary to basically call back home on the payphone.
in 1995, that was kind of a funny stretch. I'm glad they did it because there's obviously a way to continue the story, but that was a little funny. But when she finally finds all that out, she goes to a payphone like right in the same shopping center, kind of like right around that area, and they have a Rock the Vote poster, and then a Smashing Pumpkins poster for the Melancholy album. I forget exactly the title of it, but it was pretty cool with the moon and all that. So it was cool. There was some callbacks. There was some awesome nostalgia, especially me and you growing up.
Yeah.
In the 90s, being kids, it was kind of cool to see some funny stuff.
And then we get to see.
Then we get young Phil Coulson and young Nick Fury.
With two eyes.
With double vision. It's great. It was that right there. If anything, any of the special effects in that movie, the fact that they made the time change Nick Fury and Phil Coulson was absolutely awesome. There was not one point in that movie that I thought they fucked it up. Like it was it looked like it was Sam Jackson from the 90s in that movie.
Yeah, that's crazy. They could do that.
It was mind blowing. It was literally to the point where I forgot that that was CGI.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, why even bother with makeup anymore on the actors?
Exactly.
Just CGI them.
Exactly. And one thing I have to say is why they can do that in a movie, but then you go play a damn video game and the special effects are just funny. Like it's just like, that's not a dude. That's
It's ma'am.
Shout out to GameStop, I guess. Okay, so the one cool thing about this movie was the tease of Nick Fury's eye and how he loses it.
How they're going to do it.
So there were a couple different teasers in there, like he gets in a car crash and he gets a little cut over his eye. That was great. And then someone says, "Hey, how's the eye?" "Oh, it's fine. It's no big deal." And so there's these little call outs to how his eye is going to get lost. I honestly, I thought that they were going to say something about it, but then I thought they might have just left it open still at the very end of the movie. Like, it's like, are you kidding me?
I loved how they did it.
So, again, I know that all of this already, you're probably, if you didn't hear the spoiler warning, you're probably still pissed off that you listened to all this. But again, more spoilers this whole fucking time. So, okay, before we say how his eye gets going, we're going to go back to the storyline. So So she comes back to Earth. She talks to Phil Coulson, talks to Nick Fury, and then they find out Maria Rambeau, right? They find out that she has something to do with the story.
Yes.
And they see a picture, and actually you don't see it for a second, but you see Carol Danvers see a picture of her, like getting into a jet.
Well, yeah, because they, her and Fury end up going. Gosh, how did they meet up again after the whole car accident?
Yeah.
And then she ends up. Oh, she goes to the bar where because she remembered.
Oh, that's right. Okay, because she has. So through the whole thing, she has flashbacks before she knows her backstory. She has flashbacks of like what's going on.
Yeah, but
and
what made her go to the bar?
I
don't remember. That's where Fury shows up.
Yeah, because Fury shows up back there, and then they have a conversation about all that there, and then they go.
Because she's like, "Oh, you have special clearance," and so he takes her.
He takes her to that big warehouse where all the info was, and where they meet the cat, Goose.
Yes.
Okay, so Goose is actually a character from the comics named
He's my
Chewie.
second favorite actor in that movie.
Besides,
After Fury.
After Fury, yeah. So the character in the movie Goose is actually after a character in the comics named Chewie. But with Marvel being owned by Disney and Star Wars being owned by Disney, they already have a character named Chewie who's a furry animal. So they can't really do that, so they named it Goose, which is kind of cool because the whole movie is kind of Top Gun-y, like the movie from the 80s? Top Gun in the 80s? Like late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah.
But it had that whole feel of that movie, and Goose was Tom Cruise's sidekick in that movie. So it was kind of cool. It had some cool callbacks to that whole era and all that. Yeah. So what we come to find out, what's really cool about it too, is when Fury meets the cat, he's so cute with the cat. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
He does like the little baby talk voice,
yeah,
like, "Hey, little kitty, you're so cute."
Yeah, exactly. And then goes to find out the cat's name, and then reaches with his left arm to find the tag and says, "Oh, what's your name, Goose?" And then the cat puts his paw on, like, no, like, don't touch me. Kind of, it's like this weird, like, condescending thing.
It's cute, though.
It is cute when it comes off, but when you first see it, you're like, oh, okay.
And it's cool because then they're going into the record room at that facility, and the cat all of a sudden just
shows up. Yeah, it just follows. And so this cat was, like, attracted to them, like, kept following the two of them. And what I heard is this, before the movie came out, was this is going to be like a buddy cop kind of movie. Which, like, buddy cop, like, two cops.
Gotcha.
And, Fury and Danvers and Carol Danvers, that's kind of...
Makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. And so then S.H.I.E.L.D. comes and finds them, finds out where they are and whatever, and...
Because he called them.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he called them. He said something about Target, this and that, because Captain Marvel at that point was a target. She was a suspect for this and that, whatever. So he called them by accident, not knowing exactly what was going on. And what they found out after he had called them while they were on their way is that the Skrulls were actually, they weren't as bad as the Kree were making out to be. The Skrulls were basically just trying to find
Did they find out that early, though?
Yeah, because that's when the main dude, like found them, right? He, went up to him, and it was at that facility, and then they escaped after that, went to Maria Rambeau's.
I didn't think it wasn't until Maria's house.
But they all went there from there. I'm pretty sure.
No, he showed up because there was a knock at the door, and Maria's like, "Oh, that's just my neighbor." And so she's like, "No, don't answer the door." Yeah, so she answers it, and she's being a complete asshole to the neighbor. I think it really was the neighbor.
The neighbor, yeah. But okay, yeah, so that makes sense. But so then they escape. The cat ends up coming with them, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then the
cat ends up in the ship with them, or plane.
Was that after Maria Rambeau's?
No, that was before. Because they escape.
Okay.
Out of what was all under the mountain or in the mountain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
They have the record now.
Yeah,
she stole the file. They leave,
they know Maria
and then
Rambo
she's like, "Okay, how do we get to Louisiana?" And he's like, "Just go east."
Yeah. Okay.
And they fly to her.
That's right. Okay. So when they're at Marie Rambo's place, they find out that the Skrull shows up.
Yeah, and he has he has a black box. That's what it is.
That's right. He has the black box from the ship that originally crashed. Because what we come to find out is that Carol Danvers, or Captain Marvel, when she was just a human, she crashed, and then that was 6 years ago. So, and that's the same amount of time that that Captain Marvel, or Veers or whatever, she only remembers 6 years, the past 6 years of her life. So, so basically, they go into more detail about Carol Danvers' past life and her relationship to Maria Rambo and this and that and what kind of happened. So then the Skrull show up and basically say that Annette Bening's character, or she was basically Carol Danvers' representation of her most important person in the Supreme Intelligence. That's what she was originally. What actually it is she is, what was that, Wendy Lawson?
Wendy Lawson.
And she was the one who trained and ran the program that Carol Danvers and Maria Rambo were on. But since it was the 70s and the 70s raised in the military,
kind of all secretive.
Yeah, it was all secretive, and women weren't allowed to fly unless it was a life or death situation, I believe. I think that was the way they put it. So any chance that they took to fly and all that. And basically what happened was Carol Danvers and Wendy Lawson were on the same ship flying when they got attacked.
Yeah, they were getting attacked. But who was coming after them, though?
So it was the Kree. They were coming after Annette Bening for this ship.
Oh, that's right, because
she had that energy. So basically, what it was, she had an energy source on the ship that was going to. She had an energy source on the ship that was going to invent time travel, or have that power. So what we come to find out is that Annette Bening is actually Mar-Vell, who in the comics, that's what kind of makes me mad about this, is the comics are quite different in a lot of aspects, storyline wise, with characters. But Annette Bening is Mar-Vell, and she is a Kree. So what happened is she was sent here originally to to stop the Skrulls from finding or harnessing the power to have time travel to where they could be anywhere they wanted to and not be found. So they could go to any galaxy they wanted to. And when she gets here, she finds out that the Skrulls are just a race of people that don't have a home, and they are going to wherever they can so they can do that, and they're trying to find this energy so they can just find a home. So she feels bad for them, and she feels for them, so she basically turns on the Kree and fights for the Skrulls and realizes that the Skrulls are actually kind of the good guys. So at that point, she is taking the ship that has that energy on it, and the Kree come back and realize, oh, she's a fugitive. She's a double agent kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they try and come after her. The ship gets shot down, and Annette Bening says we have to destroy the energy source on that ship before they get it. She gets shot, and then it's by Jude Law. And Jude Law and Carol Danvers, who's not Captain Marvel at this point. She is just a human, just woman fighter pilot.
This is how I don't like how she gets her powers.
And so basically what happens is they're both holding guns at each other, and she points the gun at the engine at the ship and shoots it. So a huge blue explosion happens. That's how she gets her powers. You can see it sparking through her and all this cool little imagery. But that's how she gets her powers. And then Jude Law, as head of the Kree Star Force, takes her and they make her a Kree.
The only reason that he saved her, because he I guess her as a human wouldn't be able to contain those powers, but he figured, okay, well now the powers have transferred to her, so she's the key.
She is the key, yeah, exactly.
So keep her alive only for that purpose.
Exactly. And if anyone out there is as much of a Marvel nerd as I am, you see blue energy, and what do you think? Tesseract. So, basically, that is the source of this power, of this energy.
It reminded me of like a blue paperweight. That's what the Tesseract
like a clear blue little boop.
A little box.
So, the Tesseract, which has been the absolute ridiculous energy through almost all of these fucking Marvel movies, comes back again, and it's kind of the way that it ties in with a lot of the movies, because the Tesseract is in Captain Marvel, Captain America, it's in Iron Man, it's in Avengers, it's this, all of these, and it's even in Infinity War. Loki has it, is about to give it to.
So with that, they were able to harness the power from the Tesseract for that engine?
For that engine, yes.
But still maintain the Tesseract as a whole somewhere else. So you can, basically piece out the power from it?
It was taking Red Skull's, from Captain America movies and stuff. It was taking his research and a lot of the Howard Stark research and all of that and putting it together and making it into harnessing it for other energy, basically. Okay. So then, where were we? So then they hear this black box recording, which then sparks this whole flashback of her shooting the energy and this and that. So she figures out that that they're holding control of her powers, basically, right? With the little thing. Yeah.
Right? Well, I think she figures out, it dawns on her that, I don't think it really dawned on her until she was taking everyone back to
it was right before they
lab.
Left. Yeah, and then she changes her colors, and then Maria Rambeau's daughter.
Yeah, which is funny because it reminds me of the female version of Cap, because now she's red, white, and blue, very patriotic.
Red, white, and yellow, but still close.
Wait, I didn't see
it's
yellow
red, white,
in her.
And gold.
Oh, it's gold.
Yeah, but red, white, you don't need it. But still red.
I don't
and blue.
think it really dawned on her until
it's red, blue, and gold. Sorry.
Yeah, until they're at the lab. And the comment is made, what is Jude Law's character's name? I can't remember his name. Okay. So it's when he says to her, those powers that we gave you, we can take them away.
Turn them off too.
Well, because they say that in the very beginning of the movie.
We gave you the power, we can take it away. Basically,
and it actually is the AI that tells her that,
the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, just FYI. If you can't control it, we're going to take it away from you. So basically, you need to learn how to control it and work with it, or else you won't have those any longer. Yeah. So I think she realizes, because he's like, haha, I'm taking away your power.
Exactly.
And then she's like, no, screw you. Mm-hmm. I am woman, hear me roar.
So before that whole... yeah, exactly. Her other name is Helen Reddy. So what we come to find out is the reason why they call her Veers... or Verse is because her dog tags from being in the military, half of them were taken off, and it was found with her when she came to Hala, that planet, and it just said
I'm sorry. Hala. That's what I hear.
Hala. So all it said was Vers, like Carol Dan Vers. So they called her Vers or Veers because they thought that was her name. And then, so while they're going through a lot of stuff before they take off and they, go, have the battles and one of the craziness at the end, she finds Carol Dan, like the other part of her dog tag. So kind of all comes together and she's realizing all this. And then
they're on
the ship, and the Skrull, Ben Mendelsohn is the actor's name, and his character's name is Talos. He's basically the head of the Skrulls, or the head of this Earth or planet C-53's character or, leader or whatever.
But they find the people on the ship, on the lab.
Yeah, okay. So when they're on their way to their lab, because what was happening when they were trying to extract Captain when she was caught in the beginning, they were trying to find coordinates and information from her memories about Mar-Vell and about all that. And so they didn't think about in outer space, because they were looking for coordinates like longitude and latitude.
It essentially had it was
a cloaking device for space right outside the atmosphere.
And then the main Skrull, am I saying it right? Skrull, he didn't realize that his family was hidden on the lab, because they said they couldn't send a signal to him or else the Kree would find him.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and he's like, you made the right choice, you did the right thing.
So that's why they're trying to find the coordinates.
Exactly. So they could find their families. And then they could get the fuck out of there. But, one of the funniest parts of the movie is when Talos, or the head Skrull, sees the cat, and Sam Jackson is right in the face of the cat, like, "Oh, you're so cute." Blah, blah, blah. You see the Skrull's face, and he's like, "Why are you get that thing away from me?" Like, and so you don't really understand why.
He's like, "It's a cat."
He's like, "It's a cat." It's what do you? Yeah. The cats are actually in this whole MCU in the comics and everything. They're called Flurkins. Flurkins. Well, actually, they're still cats, but Flurkins are these beings that kind of look like cats. They have the same shape and whatever, but they have all these crazy pink tentacles that come out of their mouth and basically swallow. They can hold universes inside of them. It's this don't ask me to explain how. It's a crazy comic book thing. I think it's awesome, but it was cool that they had this in the movie. And so the Flurkin, what does he swallow first? He doesn't swallow the Tesseract first, does he? That's like later on, right?
No, he doesn't swallow anything. The tentacles come out and he knocks out all of the Kree that are coming to fight them. Right. But my favorite part is before that happens, Sam Jackson's holding the cat, and they have the Kree have the little scanner thing to see how dangerous something is, and they scan the cat, and it's like high to extreme danger, and so they put on a little the little Hannibal Lecter little face mask on the cat. Sam Jackson's like, he's not Hannibal Lecter. And the whole audience was like, oh, you're putting that face mask on the cat.
So great.
And then they scan Sam, and he's like, it's low to no threat. Yeah. And he's like, that scanner is wrong. There's something wrong.
Scanner. So, I mean, as you can tell, there's a couple things that we have not quite remembered perfectly on that. So you go and see the movie. But
we've only seen it once, so we're going to see it more. Yeah, to see more detail.
Yeah. So it comes down to last fight scene, which is between Carol Danvers, or Captain Marvel at that point, and you wouldn't have remembered Jude Law's name or character's name in this.
What is it?
Yon-Rogg.
Did they even mention that?
Yeah, they do. As when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, I heard that a couple times. This movie's really good, but there is a lot of shit that they throw at you. There's a lot of stuff that they throw at you. And so I don't know if this was a standalone movie. I don't know. I don't think it'd be easy to follow. But watching all the other Marvel movies, it's definitely a lot easier to follow, because you understand the world and the universe that it's all in. So you understand all this shit can happen, and this happened, whatever. But it definitely falls a little short on some aspects. But and one thing I will say, and it's Captain Marvel. It's the first woman or female driven superhero movie in this whole universe, and I definitely felt that in a couple ways. It was definitely a little You know, like you said, I am woman, hear me roar.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that, but let's finish the story, and then I'm going to get to my thoughts.
Okay. So, so here is the biggest spoiler in the whole movie. Nick Fury's eyeball. So, throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whenever Nick Fury's eye is mentioned, you know, because he has an eye patch, you've seen it once, and it's just all glassy, I'm blind. Like when he's lifted up before and you see it's all fucky. So he said a couple of times, or he said a couple of things about it, but one thing that he really said, it was in the Winter Soldier, I believe. He said, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. So he trusted the Flerken as a cat. He trusted the Flerken as a Flerken.
And what are cats good for?
Scratch in your face. He gets scratched in the left eyeball.
And everyone's like,
oh my God. Oh, everyone in the theater's like, oh, that's how it happens. And then after that he says, oh, it's just a scratch. So those 3 scratches over Nick Fury's eye, like underneath the eye patch, it's from a cat. There were theories that was from Wolverine. That the way that he lost his eye, that Nick Fury lost his eye, was from Wolverine, and that he trusted Wolverine at some point. But Marvel had not bought out the rights from Fox yet, so they couldn't. I think that would have been a kind of a cool theory to go with. That would tie in Avengers and X-Men together, you know, and all that. Be kind of cool, but I'm glad they did it this way.
Yeah.
So, and then the ending. So then the Flerken swallowed the Tesseract to keep it safe. And basically, in the comic book world of Captain Marvel, the Flerkens, basically, whatever they don't digest anything that their tentacles that come out of their mouths eat. It puts them on another dimension or something, holds them off and whatever. So the Flerken swallows the Tesseract afterwards to keep it safe, and then throughout the movie there's a pager.
Yes,
because it was the 90s. So Sam Jackson had a pager going on, and he lost it, or no, he sent up when he contacted S.H.I.E.L.D. in the beginning, and then basically blew their cover. She's like, I don't trust you with that. Yeah, so and I will say she's
like, I can't trust you with your communication device.
Exactly. So she takes away the pager, and then at the end of the movie, she gives it back to Nick Fury, and bum bum bum, it's the same pager that's at the very end. Yeah,
she's like, if you ever need to get a hold of me,
this is only for emergencies.
Yeah.
But use this. And it's the same pager from the end of Infinity War, from that end credit scene.
Right when he pages her.
Dusting. When he's getting dusted, he says, mother...
And then it drops on the ground.
And you see Captain Marvel's logo on the pager. That's when everyone realized, oh shit, Captain Marvel's about to be in the... You know, whatever. And so all this happens. So, the very end, you see that, and then, and then she goes off and whatever... There was a big old fight scene in space with her in her full Captain Marvel outfit and whatever, so she could fight, and it was a little
much
cartoony.
I have things to say about that.
Yeah, like she could take on full spaceships. It was a little. Anyways, so obviously with it being a Marvel movie, there's end credit scenes. So the first, then there were 2. There's a mid-credit scene and an end-credit scene. The mid-credit scene was amazing. The very post-credit scene, very end one, was just extra funniness with the Flerken. But the mid-credit scene was, I'm guessing it's going to be footage directly out of Endgame.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is, who was it? Cap, Black Widow.
I thought it was just them two.
No, it was Cap, Black Widow. It was. Hulk,
yeah.
And it was War Machine. Don Cheadle's character. Rhodey. James Rhodes. Like, guy, War Machine, Iron Man's
yeah, I don't
buddy.
remember him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they were all together talking, and they were sitting there trying to figure out this pager that
Black because Widow it had power to it, but it wouldn't turn on.
Yeah, it had been powering up and trying to send a signal this whole time, and then just knocked out power. Like it went dead, or it went dead, quote unquote. So they're all sitting there talking like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. It just stopped sending the signal. It went off. We're going to try and reset it and reboot it. And as they say that, Captain Marvel shows up behind them, and the camera pans, and all Captain Marvel says is, "Where's Fury?" And then boom, ended the scene. So that's cool. Getting a little bit of chills. Just that all built up. And then. And what's funny is being in the theater, you see the people that this is their first damn Marvel movie because they're getting up before the credits even start, and then they missed the mid-credit scene, and then they missed the last scene. Even the people that saw the mid-credit scene, some of them got up. Those annoying two bros.
Yes,
they got up and they missed the last one. So fuck them. But it was awesome seeing all of us true Marvel fans sitting there and waiting.
There was a good amount of people that waited.
It was at least like 50 to 60% of the theater. And then the very end, you just see the cat or the Flerken yak up the Tesseract, a little hairball.
The paperweight.
Okay. There's the whole movie laid out in very squirrel moment fashion. But, so what do you think about it, babe? I'm going to give you, it was International Women's Day when it came out, so I'm going to give you your opinion first.
I don't like it because she's...
Scale of 1 to 10 first.
For me, the whole movie on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say a 7. Yeah, of course it's Marvel, so special effects are amazing. I just don't like her character because they made it seem like she can do everything that if you put all the Avengers together, they would like it. Like her
overpower
being, her being in space and going after all the. What were they? When they were sending down, not the rockets, they were sending down the bombs or whatever to destroy.
Oh, it was a Kree.
Well, it was the dude that said was in the metal band.
Oh, Ronan.
Ronan sent all those.
That's right.
All those bombs, and she held one of them and threw it back out.
Yeah.
The other ones and destroyed all of them, and then went through the ship and everything. Yeah. To me, that was something that you would need all the Avengers together to do, but she did it all.
Yeah.
And it was to me, it was a little too much.
Yeah, it was like it kind of made me mad because it's almost making Endgame too easy.
Well, yeah, because right there they're basically saying, okay, so she seemed more powerful than Cap.
Oh, well, Cap doesn't. He has powers, but it's more strength. More strength and character.
That's what they're saying is hers too, because the whole point is that she doesn't need to be Kree necessarily to have these powers. She's just a superhuman.
Yeah.
Now,
because they had that power dampener, and then she takes it off and is just crazy and says, "What is this?" Didn't she say something to you like, I don't owe you anything about, like, what was that all about?
I don't know. She just seemed a little too cocky and annoying to me. Yeah. So I'm like, really, they have to make the female be like this superpower, annoying person? Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I think it was too far-fetched on the powers. They made her too powerful.
Yeah, like, she could do fucking anything. And it's like, okay, being the visual aspect of it, like, seeing all that, pretty cool. Like, just as, like, with no story behind it, whatever, it was really cool, like, battle scenes and all that. But then when you put, like, it in context with everything else, it's kind of like it's almost as easy as, like, Doctor Strange taking the Time Stone, turning back time, getting all of them, beating Thanos. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, what I didn't like too, like, okay, when she was free falling down to Earth, and then all of a sudden she realizes she can use her powers and just fly around.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? So all of a sudden now she's like Iron Man in his suit?
Yeah, but
without a suit?
Yeah.
And then, like, when she went through that ship and destroyed it, that to me, that was kind of like,
just
like Cap, like throwing his shield and doing kind of, but like complete destruction.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be like Iron Man, like everybody together doing that.
It's like the strength of the Hulk, the speed of Iron Man, the character of Captain. it was just really, it was kind of annoying because she was very, she played it okay. Brie Larson was okay, but she's very dry, very...
Well, no, she had the attitude like, I'm better than everybody.
Exactly. No matter if it was another woman or another man or whatever. But, and, you know, one thing I will say is there's a lot of controversy leading up to the movie with Brie Larson as an actress. Because she was in a movie called Wrinkle in Time. I guess I didn't know who she was before being announced as Captain Marvel, personally. But I guess she said, because her movie was reviewed and didn't really do too well with The Wrinkle in Time, and she went online and saying, I don't care what a bunch of white dudes think of my movies. It's not made for them. Literally said that. And I mean, I guess I can understand to a point, but it seemed like it was like, what if she had said that about, you know? Well,
the crazy part is this movie got rated horribly.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes took down the ability to use for user ratings.
Yeah,
it was only for like reviewers and stuff like that. So they're basically stopping.
Said this movie was horrible, and like overall, the movie to me was a little boring.
Yeah, I mean, it kept me on my seat, but it was mostly me waiting for Nick Fury to show up again. Yeah, waiting for the Flurkin, you know.
Fury was hilarious, and I thought the cat was better than her.
Yeah, and I mean, Coulson was great. I mean, it was just very... It was really cool because they had a lot of cool music in there, but one thing that just got to me was using No Doubt's I'm Just a Girl in the middle of the end fight scene. It was almost like it was just forced. Like it was forced girl power thing.
Well, and that's why I'm really curious to see her interaction with the other girls.
Yeah, and actually bringing that up, Black Widow and Scarlet Witch, which are Scarlett Johansson and Elizabeth Olsen, respectively, the characters, actresses, they are mad about it because they've been built up through all of these movies as, you know, these powerful women role model, all this, even for little girls, whatever. They're role
Black
models.
Widow kicks ass.
Exactly, she's awesome, and Scarlet Witch has her powers derived from an Infinity Stone, just as Captain Marvel does, and she was being billed as the most powerful female character in the MCU. She literally stopped Thanos as she's killing Vision.
Yeah.
And so it's this power struggle, it's this romance struggle, it's this all this, and they have her set up at this, and then they just bring in Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, who,
what I'm thinking is going to happen because Rhoda said the last thing he says before they take off.
Who?
Is it Ronos? How do you say his name?
Who? Oh, Thanos?
No, not Thanos. In this movie, the guy. Ronan.
Yeah.
Says
with the big hammer.
Yeah, he says something about going and getting that weapon, and they're like, "What weapon?" I'm like, her. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're going to come back and kidnap her.
I mean, this does leave it a lot open, but you know me, I watch my YouTube videos, go down the rabbit hole about things and try and read up a lot about
she's
stuff.
Definitely officially my least favorite character.
Yeah, definitely me here. Me too. So I've heard that the owner of Disney, Bob Iger, or what, I forget his name, Bob Iger, he's not happy with Kevin Feige's decision as Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Oh, good. They kill her off.
There were a lot of other actresses that were up for Captain Marvel, but Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, basically demanded that it was Brie Larson. A little funny there. Also, the Marvel cast can't stand her portrayal of Captain Marvel. Bob Iger is already starting to think of a recast, even though Brie Larson is signed on for 9 MCU films. She's literally going to be the face of the Marvel Universe. That's what she's
really curious to see people's thoughts on her, because if they get enough people that are not a fan of her.
It came out yesterday, and there's already people saying, no, we need to recast
this. I immediately didn't like her when she came on screen.
Exactly.
There's not, when I say, I don't like Spider-Man and I don't like that, it's not that I don't like them.
Yeah.
I just
the acting, the portrayal of the character.
Yeah, they're fine. Like I don't mind. Like they do a great job of portraying the character. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't particularly like that superhero.
Yeah.
Like regardless of who plays it, I'm just not a fan of Spider-Man.
Yeah, the actual,
But I just can't actually stand her portrayal of that character.
Exactly.
So it's for me, it's going to be hard to follow her.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that it doesn't. And another thing that I heard, so Joe and Anthony Russo, who are the directors of Infinity War and Endgame, right? They shot two different versions. They shot two different versions of Endgame with Captain Marvel's scenes in there, depending on how Captain Marvel did. If Captain Marvel bombs, they're going to use insert footage A. If Captain Marvel does good, insert footage B. Basically saying if everyone hates Captain Marvel, which I'm guessing it's going to be a real toss-up of whether people are okay with this or not. But evidently she's not going to care because it's, a bunch of white dudes. But depending on what happens, is whether or not Captain Marvel's screen time or involvement in the plot for this will be as big. You know what I mean? Whether or not she's going to be the one that takes down Thanos, or whether she's just going to be like, "Oh, I'm here."
Well, that's going to piss me off in Endgame if she's going to be like the lead role that, compared to everyone else, like blows everyone else out of the water, and she's the one that single-handedly handles it. That to me, I'll be turned off by that completely.
I will be very, very mad that all this buildup, because Thanos has been a buildup of a villain, and how dastardly and how disturbing and
the whole point of the Avengers, and it's the same thing of what wow, I can't even think of anyone's names right now. I'm like drawing a blank. Fury, what he says is, he needs to find more like Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. And so, hence Avengers.
Oh, because her nickname on her jet was Carol Avenger Danvers.
Yeah.
So it was the something initiative, and then he changed. He's like, oh no, the Avengers. Yeah. Initiative.
So the fact that right there he's stating the whole point of having this team of all powerful people is because you need more than one person to take down
more people like Captain Marvel.
Yeah, to take down any. Any of the bad guys. So if you're going to say she's the all-powerful one that's going to do it herself, well then that
where the
contradicts.
Fuck has she been this whole time?
Yeah, it contradicts the whole point of having this team of superheroes.
Yeah.
But then also maybe what they'll do with it is say, okay, the whole team is great, but to defeat Thanos and whatever the hell is going to happen, whatever we find out in Endgame, they need that one more, that missing piece. Mm-hmm. And I hope they show it that way. She's the missing link
that connects all of them, not that
I don't want her overpowering and being well, basically she's better than everyone, so she takes care of it.
Yeah. Now I understand her power. I understand how in this movie they take and make her power a little bit.
They'll probably tone it down. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe they could take it as, it's been years since, all that. So maybe her power is diminished a little bit. I don't know.
Or maybe, maybe something to do with her taking... I know that whole, little thing on her neck was supposed to be, the...
Power dampener.
Yeah, the thing that actually, helped control.
Well,
but
what it was billed as is what it was what was giving her power. But then when she took it off, it basically was just like a governor. It basically just dampened her power to where it was only coming out of her hands.
So maybe what's going to happen is her power is really strong at the beginning, and she's like, "Woo, I have power," and they're crazy with it, and then it's losing momentum over time. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's so many ways. I don't know.
But then again, really Scarlet Witch isn't going to be losing power over time just because of not having. If you don't use it, you lose it. I don't know. I think there's going to be enough negative reviews, or just enough neutral negative reviews, that they're going to have to tone her powers down, or there's going to be some reason they're going to have to tone them down. Because literally, by what she did in that movie, you think she could single-handedly handle Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, she literally was blowing up
Were those like atom bombs or whatever they were whatever the hell those missiles were they were dropping?
Yeah, they were basically atom bombs.
She stopped one of them.
Yeah, and threw them back at all the other 80 of them.
So I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like, I know Marvel movies take place in space and all this quantum fucking craziness, but this was almost like, okay, like she's way too crazy. You know, like I really hope. And again, I'm a Marvel
nut. I know it's not realistic anyways, but still they have to make it a little more realistic.
Exactly.
And show like the enemy does have some sort of chance.
There was one thing that I saw while watching little, reviews and, ideas about it and whatever, is someone said it gave them a real X-Files feel. Like with going into the warehouse and all the information and all that. Like, you watched the X-Files, I didn't. So
I would definitely not get that vibe. The only part that I would get an X-Files vibe from is the time that they found, like, they drove into the mountains, and I leaned over and I told him, like, hey, that looks like the back road to Big Bear.
Yeah, that's
I think that really was. It really looked like up in San Bernardino area. But driving up through nothingness, arriving at a gate and saying who you are, scanning your thumb, getting through the gate, and then arriving in a tunnel to some hidden location. Yes, that was X-Files. And then going into the room where they basically, they were holding him, and then he used the tape to get the fingerprint, and then he used that to scan.
That was actually really
so
cool.
That, and then going in the record room, that right there, but that's the extent. I don't see...
Yeah, it was really funny, though. He, spent all the time to do the tape and whatever, and then the next door they come to, she just shoots it. He's like, you let me play with tape?
Yeah.
When you could have just done that. It was definitely funny. It was pretty lighthearted for the most part. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 just because it's a Marvel movie. It sets up something. It's more Marvel info.
Well, it was a necessary link in the series, obviously.
Exactly. Well, because they kind of set it up that way. So, but at the same time, they could have not had the Captain Marvel pager. They could have not had this whole damn movie. They could have inserted it with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or they could have had Spider-Man come out now and switched around that time. They could have done a lot of things, or even had Black Panther too. But they did kind of have to have some sort of setup, from, a back in time kind of thing. Because the last time they did that was, the whole movie was basically Captain America, I think. Or no, they had some stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyways, so I'll say that I generally liked it. It would have been great to not have so much, girl power, shoved down our throats. And I mean, you kind of agree, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but I think it's I definitely do agree, because you don't see that from Scarlet or from Scarlet Witch, not Scarlett Johansson, from Black Widow or...
Hey, that's weird. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, didn't you notice that? Scarlett
Johansson, Scarlet Witch, but different people.
Yeah, it's not like they're in your face girl power.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a couple times, like in Infinity War, where it's Black Widow and Okoye. I think the chick from Black Widow.
Yeah,
and they're fighting that other Thanos, the children of Thanos, the woman. They're like the three of them are fighting. Scarlet Witch comes.
To me, that felt like that was just general. Like, I'm a superhero,
exactly,
and I have powers, and I'm gonna kick your ass. I was gonna say kick your bass is what I just said. But hers was more so. I kind of felt like she was like the star of field hockey in high school.
Who now? Which one?
Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
She was the chick that was like the field hockey star or whatever. Like, like I'm the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
Lacrosse.
So I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, I can't stand cocky people. So to me, it was immediately like, eh.
But
the movie, if you get past her, the movie was good.
Exactly, it was good. She didn't do it for me.
Fury is awesome. It was funny. He always has the good one-liners.
Yeah, and it kind of, what was cool is Phil Coulson, his being young Phil. He also that's kind of his start between him and Nick Fury and their trust, because he lets them go.
Yeah,
he has a chance to.
Yeah, because he sees him in the stairwell and it's like, let's just go. And he's like, no, I don't see him.
Which is really cool. So there are some very cool building things, like building up the series, building up the characters that we've all like come to know and love, and building up their backstories and stuff. It was really cool to have a Coulson and Nick Fury, origin kind of story, or for the most part, and it was really cool to see Nick Fury, because if you notice, Nick Fury in the beginning is still Nick Fury, but he's not as untrusting. He's not as cold and callous. He's very fun. Yeah,
and that's the funny part, because
it's because of this.
Yes, because that's why I was so confused when he popped in on the screen, because I was like, oh wow, he doesn't seem to know anything about like all the weirdness.
Yeah, he's
just a regular cop right now.
Yeah,
and he seemed kind of friendly.
Yeah,
and
friendly.
I'm like, wait, what happened?
Trusting and
because even in the Spider-Man preview, he seemed kind of like an asshole.
Yeah,
he's not an asshole. He just seems kind of like
very cold, very callous. Very,
that's good.
Knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So, I guess aware or woke.
He's just been through so much.
Yeah, exactly. He's weathered through all this shit.
He's tough because of everything he's been through.
And but if you notice at the very end of Captain Marvel, you start to see, and when they bring him, when Coulson brings him the little box of eyeballs.
Yes.
So like, this is the biggest decision you have now. And he brings the box of eyeballs, and then what does he have? Like one of those little spoons, little slotted spoon thing.
That's what it looked like.
It was like a colander,
weird.
But like over his eye.
I was trying to look at it.
And so they're basically giving him a choice of what eyeball are you gonna, pick to put in your head, because your eyeball's fucked. But you kind of see him starting to turn into that Nick Fury that we all know, where he's a little more cold and he's just sitting there sitting there back.
Because he's just like.
He's like, fuck all this. Like, this shit's getting real. It's like, shit's about to go down.
No, overall, Marvel did great with this movie. It's just her. I just have a hard time getting past her personality in this movie. And I just
recast,
don't. I just don't like what they did with her.
Otherwise,
great.
What I will say to Marvel is, pay her money to cancel her contract.
I'm really curious who else they were considering.
Yeah, I'd like to know. But and it obviously actors are separate people from their characters and whatever. But when you have a universe and you have stories and you have diehard fans that you have, and you have people that don't personify their characters or don't, all that, it's going to affect it, man. You're going to have people that don't like that and stand up for it, I mean, look at Star Wars. So many people didn't like The Last Jedi. Jedi. And I mean, you can kind of say there's a lot of this Captain Marvel girl power thing in there too, because they have Princess Leia, who's this all powerful now. She has the Force. She can fucking fly through space.
Yeah, but again, she's not cocky with it. That's the difference.
But then there was that other one that flew, that crashed the ship, the light speeded the ship in there. She was a little cocky.
Yeah.
She was a little cocky.
Yeah.
She's like, get this guy or this fly boy away from, whatever the fuck she said. So, I mean, there's a little bit here and there, and it's just one of those things where it's like, can we just go see a fucking movie? You know what I mean?
But then again, there's cocky guys too.
Yeah, true.
And gosh, who was it?
But think about it. Most of those cocky guys get knocked down pegs in movies.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it turns from a cocky guy to a cocky girl, doesn't really get knocked down too much.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where like, can we just watch a movie? Can we just watch a movie that isn't about like politics?
But I'm wondering if they had to make her that way in order for her to persevere like through it and turn and be like, no, I am a human, but I'm not just a human.
Yeah.
Like humans are powerful too, because then she does the flashbacks of every time she quote unquote failed at something, like during sports, and she was like racing go-karts, and like she crashed, but she got back up.
And then she was in the military doing the rope, and boot camp she fell,
so
and all the dudes were laughing.
You know, perhaps that's what it was too. Like they're trying to show she's human, so she's vulnerable.
Yeah.
But now you've given a human these powers. Exactly. So a human can get out of control with them. It has to learn how to harness the powers. So it's kind of her human side was coming through when she was Kree, because even as Kree, she still had to learn how to control things.
True.
And then
my whole thing with that is they already did that with Peter Quill. They already did that with Star-Lord.
Well,
he was already given powers to be this ultimate, you know what I mean? He was half human, half, a god, basically, and he gave up his power and sacrificed it to kill Kurt Russell. You see what I mean? Like, he already had that. They already fucking did this.
But now it's a female.
So, again, I like the movie. It's just, it would be really awesome if we could just have a comic book movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to go for the all-female. Like, they figured they could get more of an audience with that.
It was released on International Women's Day. They were doing it. You know what I mean? They were doing it. And I'm not saying they didn't market it, correctly. That's a smart thing to do. But...
yeah, I'm getting really tired of all, like, the feminism.
It was a little extra.
Stuff.
Not saying that I don't believe that everyone should have the same rights and voice and this and that. I'm not saying that. But... there's a difference between overpowering and making equal. You know what I mean?
I'll be curious. I want to read reviews now.
Yes,
I'm
would
curious.
Like to. But again, I heard that all the Marvel cast of the Avengers and all that can't stand her. Like, do not want her to be Captain Marvel. And just to be completely honest, she's a superhero, right? In a superhero world, right? What are almost every one of the characters in Marvel? Ripped. They're muscular. They like all the dudes are like built, right? For the most part.
Yes.
All the girls, they're all the women. They're all in like skin tight leather. They look hot, whatever.
Big boobs.
Big butt, big boobs, all that.
Yeah.
Did you see the concrete slab that Brie Larson had going on?
No, she had boobs.
No, I'm talking about the backside. It literally was like a fucking screen door. Like her leather was loose. Like her butt looked like she had a lobe, like in the middle.
I was not paying attention to her.
I'm just saying.
But sorry.
Even fucking Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd got ripped for Ant-Man. Like, he was in I Love You, Man. Like, there's no reason for Paul Rudd to be fucking having goddamn an 8-pack. But he did it. Do some fucking squats. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, dude, it's a Marvel movie. It's a huge movie. Do your job.
She didn't need to, because
people
were to be focused on her powers, not her looks.
Okay, well, you know what? Either have one. Either have awesome acting or a big old butt.
Wow.
Okay. Obviously, I hope you guys know, with most of this shit, we're just joking around. We're just fucking around. But, it like I said, an 8 from me, a 7 from you, babe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not bad, right? That's a C or a B. Like that.
Yeah,
so
pretty much like what I'm seeing is everyone's giving it like a 79%.
So we're about right on.
Yeah.
So there we go. So, I mean, it was good to have another fucking Marvel movie. It was great to see where they're taking the story. And, it was another awesome blaster explosion, superheroes, awesomeness. It was cool. And it's cool to see more actors be involved in this whole thing. Like, Annette Bening did pretty well. I liked her acting in it.
Yeah, she did
good.
Jude
Law was great. Ben Mendelsohn was awesome. You thought it was the actor from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah.
Or that's his character's name, I guess. But I think his name in real life is Mike. I actually met him. Where was it?
At a gas station.
At a gas station.
When you were working.
Yucaipa?
Yeah.
It was at a gas station in Yucaipa when I was working for Vivint. I was on my way to doing a job up there, and I stopped at a gas station to get gas, and Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad, the character who was basically the enforcer for Gus Fring, was there. The actor was there, and I met him. I took a picture with him. It was pretty cool. He's a really, really awesome dude. Him and his wife were just going on a little vacation or something, or just driving around. But he was a really, really nice guy. But anyways, so what I will say is I liked it. I did. It wasn't bad. No. But next week, I believe we are going to be our episode for next week is going to be. I think I have a little list here. Hold on 1 second. There we go. So this week is the Captain Marvel, and next week I believe is going to be our health and paleo episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly.
We'll have to see. If not, we'll come up with something for you. We'll have a little funniness. But anyways, we are going to get out of here. We're going to give you an opportunity to go see the movie for yourself and message us. See if we were right on. See if we were off or whatever. But one more time, we're going to give a shout out to Kaleo and Kate from Chelsea Smile. Chelsea Smile Clothing Company. Go to chelseasmile.co. Again, that's CHELSEASMILE.co, and use promo code TDP, the acronym for Till Death Podcast, for 20% off of your entire purchase. And I think I just saw a post about them saying they got their new denims in. They just have to put them up.
Yep.
Pretty sweet. So go check them out. Go see if you like the threads, bro. And we are going to get out of here, and we're going to get some shopping done. Go get some groceries.
So I can be prepared for talking about health next week.
Exactly. So we're going to go to Sprouts, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Or maybe organic roots? Throw that in there?
The crunchy cheese crust.
Now I sound like Gonzo. Oh, actually, we don't have any interesting Gonzo stories because he's pretty good. He didn't shit anytime.
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just got a new rug.
Yeah, didn't he do something funny the past couple of days? Nothing weird?
Nothing really. Just been.
He's a lot more active.
Pretty chill dog.
A lot more active, which is cool.
Yeah.
In two different ways. It's cool because he has more energy and he's feeling a lot better. But it's also not cool because he's a 100-pound animal that follows you around and barrels through everything and falls down the stairs and farts.
A lot.
Didn't he put his butt up against the door last night and we swear he was going to fart underneath it?
Oh yeah, he'll sleep outside of our door. Well, now that we actually let him back upstairs, he likes, he's protector. He's a good dog, and he'll sleep with his butt right up against our door, and like his butthole literally is right there under the door.
You'll literally, because he'll sit away when you shut the door and say good night, Gonzo, love you. Shut the door, and he sits away from the door, and then you hear about 5 minutes later, and that's his butt hitting the door and pushing it up against the door like jam, and then he farts.
Fills the room with gas.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay, we're gonna get out of here. We are horrible at this ending thing, but we'll get better. chelseasmile.co. Use that promo code TDP for 20% off your entire purchase, and enjoy your week. Let us know if we are on or off, and if not, but anyways, I hope you guys take care, and I hope you enjoyed this 8th episode of our podcast. Love you, babe.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
For any other info or a way to contact us, go to facebook.com/TILDEATHPDCST. That's facebook.com/TillDeathPodcast, podcast without the vowels. Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you next time.